What's up, legends? It's Prutti here for Transmoto, and we are out here at Appin, New South Wales for the 2026 Yamaha YZF450 launch. They've got a whole bunch of bikes. We've got 10 bikes out here. We've got a whole bunch of media. We've got the CDR factory Yamaha team out here. We've got Jed Beaton, we've got Aaron Tanti, and a whole bunch of other riders out here testing out these new bikes. We had a presentation last night, and one thing that they kept reiterating was compliancy, compliancy, compliancy. They knew they had a chassis that needed some refinements, and that's exactly what they've done. We're going to start from the top. Hydraulic clutch. Does it make or break the bike? Personally, I don't really think so. I love the feel of a hydraulic system, and that's exactly what they've done. To me, it actually looks a little bit interesting because it's such a massive reservoir. I don't think I've ever seen a hydraulic clutch with such a big reservoir. I assume that's obviously just to hold the volume that they need, with clutches obviously heating up so much, a solution to a problem they may have had under testing. But then as we move further down, chassis-wise, as you can sort of see, the plastics are a little bit different. They've got a new rear guard, which is meant to be sort of a little bit more user-friendly when getting on and off the stand and being able to hold the bike. Plastics-wise, moving forward, there is a new front number plate, very similar, a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. Furthermore, we got a whole bunch of blue plastics. They've kind of changed up. They've gone away from the navy look on the front end with the fork guards and radiator louvers. And then an all new hexagon pattern seat. Well, the plan of this seat was to help grip on the way back, but make it easy to slide on the way forward. So if you're coming in braking and you need to get your weight forward to make that transition to seating, you can. But if you're coming out of a turn, that seat is really going to hold you in there. Being that this bike is such a fire breather and has been for a few generations now, I definitely think that's a positive additive. We then work our way down. They've added some material to the top of the down tube and minimized some to the bottom of the down tube to help with flex characteristics. Again, they're just looking for compliancy, 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 compliancy. It's all we heard last night, and from what I felt out on the track, I definitely think they've ticked that box. For me, the bike felt really well balanced, but for the rough turns that we did have out there, I found personally just pulling the back down a few mil in the sag really helped. Speaking of sag and the rear end, there's an all new rear shock, and they've even added an on the fly adjuster to the compression. So now this bike, if you're out on the track, you don't need that Phillips head. You can adjust the compression on the forks and the shock all out on the track. Me personally, I love that because I like to faff around a little bit. When I was out on the track, even a couple of times I was doing a few adjustments here and there. Pull over, turn it, get back out there, and away you go. For me, little things like that are just a huge positive. You will notice if you do look at the bike and the exhaust to meet those sound standards, they've made basically like a mini Mega Bomb header. Again, they're just looking to keep this thing quiet, and it is quite a difference. I think from memory, it's about 3 decibels they're trying to quieten this thing down. To the consumer, does that matter? No, but when I was out on the track, I actually preferred it being a little bit quieter. For me, a quieter bike, smoother bike was actually a little bit more preferable. They have shaved a little bit of material off the foot peg mount. This is something that I actually had a bit of an issue with in the older models, especially the 24. I think they refined it in 25, and apparently they've refined it even further in the 26, just to make sure when your feet are planted right up against the foot pegs, you're not getting pushed off by this mount. Again, guys, we're looking for refinements, and that's exactly what they've done. FIM have new sound restrictions coming out next year, and they had to meet them, but by doing so means quieting the bike down and meant that they had to add a little bit of weight. So this 2026 model is 1 kilo heavier. Does that matter? Personally, I didn't feel it, no. With the amount of refinements they've done to the chassis and suspension, I think this whole new package is it's a massive step in the right direction. For the consumer, I think this bike is going to be so much better. It's a lot quieter, it's a lot more manageable, and it's got an all new anti-theft lock system on the ECU. So you just log into the app, put in a passcode, and this bike cannot be started unless you put that passcode back in. So just a whole bunch of elements to this whole new package. Now, what does all this mean? Out on the track, this bike is a little bit mellower, I would say, than the previous models, which for me, I love. And I think 450s already have so much power as it is. And by quieting this bike down, they've gone up 2 teeth on the rear sprocket just to allow for how much they've restricted it exhaust-wise, airbox-wise. They've now added that on to try and give it a little bit of punch. So we're out here at Appin. There are some real pockety turns. Some are really hard to carry momentum, and you're still getting third out of it no matter what. For me, that's a huge positive. With an engine package this powerful, you want to be able to use those taller gears so you're not binding up the motor as much. As far as turning, this thing turned on the dime almost a little bit too much at first. By lowering the rear a little bit, I found it was just like a beautiful home. I could drag a little bit of front brake if I needed to. I could punch that clutch out of these ruts and the thing would stand up and drive. Before, for me personally, it was a little bit too stink buggy. I was fighting it. Once I changed the sag a little bit and went a little bit softer in the rear shock, a little bit harder on the forks, really enjoyed it. I was having a lot of fun. There's some big jumps on the side of that hill there. We were able to scrub down a few and toss a couple of whips off the step up. And all in all, man, I think this bike is absolutely heaps better, especially for a rider like me who doesn't mind revving a bike, who doesn't mind lugging it in third if you need to. And yeah, all in all, Yamaha have done a great job for the 2026 Yamaha YZF450.